Hello there. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. My name is Douglas Fajardo. I'm the CEO for Xenial Digital, and we are going to be presenting today how we work with higher education institutions implementing extended reality learning solutions. So just to give you a little bit of background on our company, we were part of a global group called WPP, and we split from WPP in March of 2018. And the reason why I mentioned WPP is because within that company, we were able to work with a lot of institutions, especially in the higher education space, to implement mobile and other digital experiential solutions for different universities and colleges. And through that experience is how we've been able to now transition into the XR space to bring a more immersive type of solutions in terms of learning. Our team is 27 people strong, so we have quite a medium-sized team that goes from having very strong capabilities on the creative side, as well as on the development of 3D environments, and of course the programming and deployment of immersive learning solutions. And in terms of the technologies that we work with, we actually work with 4 different types of technologies in the XR space. Of course, virtual reality, that's one of the areas where we have over 5 years of experience, as well as in augmented reality. In the last 2 years, we've also had the opportunity to work and develop a lot of mixed reality or spatial computing solutions using HoloLens and Magic Leap. And in the last couple of months, we've started to work very deeply with WebXR. And as a matter of fact, one of our first projects is an internal project to convert our website into a virtual reality enabled website so people can experience our work in virtual reality when they access our site. So just to continue, our focus in the learning space with extended reality has been in 3 specific areas in terms of learning. One has been labs. We've been developing a lot of labs, for example, chemistry, biology, physics. So we've been transitioning everything that's done in a lab into a virtual reality experience. The other place where it's been really interesting, especially in the last couple of months, it's been in the skills development area. And in that specific area, all the work has been with higher education solutions. For example, creating skills experiences for nurses who are training how to work with anesthesia equipment or ventilators, especially now with the situation with COVID. We've been getting a lot of requests to create skills training for nurses. And then in the area that's been developing quite quickly, it's also skills development for aircraft technicians. So basically, those mechanics or those students that are developing careers to become a mechanic in the aviation industry, that's been an area where we've been getting quite a bit of traction. And then on the I guess the third area where we've been working also heavily has been more with corporations and institutions that are transitioning trainings that are either high risk or that contain a high cost factor because people have to travel to different places for training. All of those different training programs, we have been now transitioning them into virtual reality. And later on, I'm gonna show you guys a few examples of the work that we've done, and so in each of these areas. So when it comes to VR specifically, that's the area where I want to focus probably the strongest. We saw that in the beginning we were creating a lot of different content for different clients, for universities, even for K through 12 schools. And it was great to have all of these opportunities to create great content experiences, as I was mentioning some of them, like the chemistry labs, dissection labs to dissect pigs and different types of specimens and things like that. But we knew that just creating great content wasn't going to be enough. We needed to go, especially us as a company, we needed to go beyond the content and actually provide a comprehensive solution that would make sense especially from a performance, metrics, analytics, and data gathering perspective. So that was kind of like how we've been transitioning our company. So when we transitioned from in 2008 and became a startup focused on extended reality, we decided to just create great content experiences. In 2019, our goal was to create a comprehensive platform that we could bring to the market in 2020. So what we did is basically focus on creating what we call the Xennial Digital XR Learning Platform. And this platform has three key components. The first one, we wanted to build a secure VR content distribution portal so that we could actually deliver very specific content to for those companies or for those institutions we were engaging with. The other piece that was, of course, important is the content layer. We needed to develop not only highly immersive experiences, but we needed to also deliver them in a cost-efficient manner. As you all that are involved in the XR space know, creating these experiences takes a lot of resources, effort, time. So one of the things that we've done with our team is actually we have built a team in Latin America that allows us to grow fast in terms of capabilities, in terms of resources, but also allows us to deliver very cost-efficient product or content. And then the last component, but probably the most critical, was we needed to deliver a component that allowed administrators, instructors, and companies to actually track progress, to track metrics, to track performance, to track certifications of what the trainees, users, and students were doing inside of the XR experiences. So just to go a little bit deeper into each of these components, what you're seeing here is actually a portal that we integrate with existing infrastructure. So we can actually integrate with existing authentication systems, credential-based systems, in order to deliver a specific set of content for a specific institution. And here we have a few things that are key to showcase. The first one is we've created our platform to be multi-language. One of the things that we knew it was key was to deliver a platform that not only could go across different areas of learning, but also across regions. We know that a lot of institutions sometimes have international companies or international representation. So we wanted to bring a multi-language solution to the market. We also have some key features like categorization. So if you wanted to filter the content by a specific area of education, for example, whether it's biology, anatomy, physics, or chemistry, you could also filter the content just for those specific areas. So this is the first component, and that's a key component in terms of distributing curated content for a specific set of users. The second piece of content, as I mentioned, one of the things that we've learned a lot, it's how to create content that's very relevant for the type of audience that we're creating the content for. We've seen specifically, since we are focusing more on the higher ed space, that bringing a more game-like environment for these young students to interact was the best way for us to connect with them on how they interact daily with their digital experiences. As we know, they're interacting with a lot of social media sites, like Snapchat or Instagram, and so on. So they're very, very very visual. Of course, they're working with very immersive gaming consoles such as the Xboxes, the Sony PlayStation. So when we create content for education, we always think about the audience and the end users, and how can we create the most immersive, most relevant experience for those end users. And the last piece, which is the critical piece, was how do we track everything that these students are doing within the content or within the experiences. So what we're doing right now, we're tracking on the analytics side time spent. If there are assessments, of course, we're grabbing specific results for specific students. We also track progress, so we can see if they have finalized on a specific assessment or on a specific task within the VR experiences. And one of the other key things that we do within here also is that we can track how all of their scores by group or by individual student are tracking against the standards. That was a key piece when we were creating this platform, was how do we create a platform that allows the institutions to create not only great content, not only to capture metrics, data, but also track it against certifications, against the standards, and things of that nature. So this is a key component for us to deliver all of the reports that the institutions need in order to understand knowledge gaps, understand which students are performing well and which students need more help. So this is one of the critical pieces of our platform, is delivering a very comprehensive set of data and performance metrics to our clients. Another key piece that we knew that we needed to bring into our platform was a collaborative environment. A lot of the VR experience are kind of like individual or standalone experiences. We know that, especially now with the COVID, with the pandemic that we're going through, we knew that having a multi-user environment where we can bring teachers and students in real time to go through instruction, through guidance, to go through orientation, or anything that needs to happen in real time in a collaborative environment, we wanted to bring that feature to the table. So we've been able to implement it already in a few corporate institutions, as well as in a couple of educational institutions, where we have students and instructors already working in real time within the VR environments. One of the other pieces that we feel is key with these immersive solutions is to try as much as we can to work with standalone devices, or devices that allow the users, or the students in this case, to be completely untethered from their computers. So we understand that there is two levels of experiences, right? So here, what you're seeing on the left side is the new Oculus Quest 2. The beauty about this device is that it's bringing a lot higher resolution, more power in terms, for us to create even higher level, higher quality experiences. At the same time that the price has come down. So this is a really interesting product for remote learning, right? Those students that will need to have their own equipment, like now, some students, of course, are required to have an iPad. We see in the future they will be required to have a virtual reality headset. So these headsets are affordable enough for the students to have at home. But we also believe or feel that we also need to bring lifelike environments to the learning experience as well, right? Whether we're recreating, the past in terms of things around history, things around, space, other things that need this hyper high quality of resolution. So with that, we feel that solutions like the HP Reverb with the backpack give the users or the students that freedom to still be in a with a standalone solution, VR solution, but where they can experience hyper quality in terms of all the experiences that we're having. So these are two of the key VR solutions in the market that we're focusing in terms of the type and quality of delivery that we're focusing on. And the reason, like I mentioned, we're focusing quite a bit on the virtual reality side. We feel it's the more mature of all the XR experiences and the one that delivers probably the most relevant and the most immersive, and where we can actually really expand the realm of solutions that we can build in the learning space. We feel that there's great devices like Microsoft HoloLens and Magic Leap on the mixed reality side, but we still feel that there is a way to go in terms of immersiveness and that they have their own space in the learning space, but not when it comes to actually, like I mentioned, creating labs or recreating history or even recreating space, for example, right? So, but one of the things that we really love about this technology is that it allows us to deliver high-end solutions. In this case, what you're seeing here, it's an implementation we did at a private school where the kids are performing different tasks in terms of physics, in terms of chemistry. But the beauty of this is also allows us with virtual reality even to deliver into disadvantaged communities or remote communities a device that enables these schools to have access to different kind of materials, components for learning that without virtual reality they just wouldn't have. What you guys are seeing here, for example, is an image of an implementation we did in my native country of Guatemala. This school is actually in the mountains of Guatemala. There's no Wi-Fi, but we were able to bring a full solution where now the students in this rural school are now, like I mentioned, have access to chemistry labs, to dissection labs. They do have a couple of areas where they can get a little bit of connectivity. So they're also, one of the greatest things, they've also been able to use other resources such as Google Earth VR, for example, to travel to other parts of the world, which is amazing because with their economic means, they just will never be able to get out of these small towns where most of their life they're basically farmers and they just do very basic tasks, right? So with this, at least we're enriching their lives and we're giving them a sense of what's like to be in other parts of the world and actually experience it almost as if they were there. So we love virtual reality because of that capability to make people experience things they just sometimes wouldn't have access to because of their economic means. So what I like to do now is just show you a little bit of the work that we've done in the different areas, in the corporate areas, with higher education and with some STEM work that we've done for more of the higher end high schools. So this is an example here of a chemistry lab. One of the things that we also love, of course, about virtual reality is the fact that we can enable students to experience things where we take the risk completely away from them being able to learn something. In this case, we built a virtual reality chemistry lab that has 4 different activity zones where they can experiment with different substances, with these different materials, to do chemical reactions that sometimes explode. But the beauty is that they can do it at home. They can do it in school for those schools that are still teaching on site, but without the risk of the kids getting born. We're actually right now in talks with another institution to actually create a nuclear reaction lab, which it's another example of how we can create these incredible learning experiences and take the risk away from the students getting injured. The other piece that we like is also the fact that we can enable, as I was mentioning before, we can enable students, we can enable schools to teach students things that sometimes they don't have access to. What you're seeing here, for example, is our dissection lab. In this case, it's a pig dissection. A lot of these schools just don't have the resources or the means to buy the pigs. The other key factor here also is that the students only get one chance to do it, so they don't get to really practice and prepare. For those schools that do have the means to have the pigs, they basically have to train through videos. They have to train through books and other printed materials. When with this specific solution, we can enable the students to actually prepare themselves before they do the dissection by following and by understanding what are all of the safety steps and all of the different dissection methods that they need to follow in order to perform that specific task. And like I mentioned, for those schools that don't have it, this is a great solution. I mean, we're staying away from killing animals on that side, and then from the other side, we're giving them an opportunity to do dissections in virtual reality and reuse these experiences multiple times to learn how to perform these type of tasks. And the third piece is we also love to create, and I think in this case that's why VR is so powerful, is that we get to create things that are impossible to do even in the classroom, even if you had all the money in the world, right? So, for example, when it comes to visualizing experiments in the areas of physics, for example, where you can do light refractions or light reflections, as we're seeing here, we're doing experiments with Snell's law, and to be able to actually replicate what you do in real life, or to be able to visualize things like the Doppler effect, which is almost basically impossible to visualize in a school environment, and recreate even a train station where the students can move around the train station and play with the speed of and the different sound pitches, and be able to solve Doppler effect formulas within virtual reality. That's why we love the power of this technology. And then when it comes to also the higher end solutions, we've been lucky enough also to be able to take on projects that allow us not only to to create a great content, a great training experience, but also to replicate the real environments in which people work. What you're seeing here is actually the virtual reality version of a cement plant. We recently just delivered this specific project where we teach engineers, or where engineers train on a very hazardous procedure that unfortunately in the past has even cost lives. Now they can train to do that procedure in a safe environment, but within the real or a semi-real environment in which these tasks are performed. So one of the greatest things about where our technology is going, of course, is the use of new solutions and new software that's coming to the market that enable us to recreate these environments as they exist in real life. In this case, we used a video camera and a lot of photography, and then through a photogrammetry process, we were able to recreate the entire plant in actually three different areas of the plant, all the way from the lab where they prepare all of their instruments and the tools that they need to use to unclog cement tanks when they get stuck, to the locker room where they have to put on all of their safety equipment, as well as the cement plant itself where they have to secure different areas and they have to go through the procedure to unclog these tanks whenever they get stuck. One of the so this is just the example of the control lobby at the cement plant. So we were also able to recreate a lot of spaces that feel that make these engineers feel as as at home as they can be within these virtual reality experiences. And one of the things that we really liked about this one is that we also, as I was mentioning before, when we understand the audience, when we understand the how much interaction some of these users have had with other gaming devices or other technology devices, it's important to ensure that we make the experience as simple for them and as natural for them as possible. In this experience for the cement plant, one of the things that we did is we completely eliminated the controllers from the experience, and the engineers are actually able to teleport themselves through these different areas by using their hands, and also at the same time interact with all of the elements, put on all of the equipment, secure the different areas of the cement plant, always using the virtual hands, which just made it a lot easier in terms of the learning curve for the engineers to be able to start working with this solution. The other piece, of course, that we're really looking forward to, it's when we get to a production level of haptic gloves, because that will enable us to actually bring the sense of touch into these experiences, and that will just take learning to another level when we're able to add the sense of touch to our VR experiences. Another interesting use case that we had in the corporate side, we actually had Burger King hire us to create a training experience for young kids to learn how to build the different meals, burgers, fries, and things that they sell. And the key insight here was that in this type of environments where there is high rotation of personnel, or where there are young people coming into the companies, we need to create environments that allow them to learn quickly and allow them to learn the way that is more relevant to them. So by creating this virtual reality Burger King kitchens and having all these guided learning experiences, we were able to actually not only train the employees faster, but also there was an impact in terms of cost, because there was no food that was being wasted as a result of the training, because they were making mistakes and things of that nature. So it kind of like had a double benefit, and it was a great experience for us to be able to start developing this type of content that enable us to also measure how faster we can train people and also capture knowledge retention levels, which is great. There is quite a bit of studies out there that knowledge retention is 30% and up when you learn in virtual reality. So we're really excited about continuing to develop these type of experiences for different companies. And the other one that also was another solution that we implemented that was very interesting was also in the highlands of Guatemala. We also had an opportunity to work with the Nature Conservancy, which is a global nonprofit that focuses on helping farmers understand climate change and how they impact their economies, their growing seasons, and how to leverage the fewer months of water that they have in order to create irrigation systems that will last them for the whole year. So in this case, we actually took a group of about 20 farmers in basically the mountains where they grow corn, beans, and squash, and we taught them through virtual reality how to create irrigation systems based on the different types of land that they have. The beauty about this case study is that some of these farmers are actually illiterate. Some actually don't even speak Spanish. So with this virtual reality experience, what we did was basically replicate replicate the way they learn, which is by watching, listening, and doing. And that is what we accomplished with this virtual reality experience. And the feedback from them was extremely positive, to the point where now we're actually implementing, aside from a Spanish version, we're about to deliver three additional versions in 3 different Mayan languages. As far as we understand, this is going to be the first virtual reality training experience anywhere in Mayan. So we're really excited to bring that to the market and start showcasing the power that these solutions bring even to these very remote communities. And then when it comes to higher education studies, I want to focus on 2 different partners. So we call our clients partners that we've engaged with the University of Miami, as well as showcase also an international case study with the Universidad Rosario in Bogota, in Colombia. And because they're all totally different, but it's interesting how higher education institutions are looking to implement different learning experiences in their faculties. So the way we work with higher ed, first we usually engage with the faculty, whether it's the dean, sometimes at the provost level, but usually it's the dean of a specific school. And there is a definition of a specific use case that they are looking to take from paper-based or video-based or even an online lesson into an immersive learning solution. We've been lucky enough to do quite a bit of this, but usually that's the way we engage. It's with a team that then brings their team together in the faculty. We explore the different case studies and we define it. After we do that, then we start working with the subject matter expert. That's the professor for a specific area of school, whether it's a school of medicine, a school of engineering, architecture, whoever is going to be the person that's going to basically work in a very collaborative manner with our team in order to be able to provide the learning objectives, references in terms of images, presentations, videos, anything that they have that will allow us to recreate in an immersive manner everything that they teach for that specific subject. They really collaborate with us along the entire process of production. They validate the storyboards, the SMEs validate all of the interactions that we're going to place into the content. And they also actually become our quality control resource, because they test all of the content and all of the experiences as we're building them. And of course, at the end, we just implement and deliver the XR project, and then we're able to support them. We're able to enhance whatever solutions we build, or we basically built on top of those solutions, right? So, for example, if we build a specific experience for the School of Nursing to work with anesthesia equipment, then we'll build another module to work with ventilators or respiratory devices and other ER equipment and so on. So our goal is always to create long-term partnerships, long-term relationships where we can continue to develop these highly impactful type of solutions. One of the examples that's kind of very interesting, this actually was delivered on the Magic Leap, so it's a mixed reality experience. We just deliver a three module course for the nursing school at the University of Miami, where the beauty about this was that the students are actually taking the Magic Leaps home, or if they're at school, they have, of course, their labs, and they're able to overlay all of the equipment they need to work with different anesthesia equipment, how to monitor a patient, they're able to actually go through the entire process to work with, as you can see here, with normothermia equipment, with fluid status equipment, with anesthesia depth equipment, and actually have a simulated patient connect all of the different equipment and devices that they need in order to perform this specific procedure, and then also be able to monitor the patient's vital signs as well. So this is a great case study. We delivered about 2 weeks ago, and now we're actually working on the next set of modules that we're going to be creating. With the University of Miami, we also had the opportunity to work with the School of Art and Sciences. What you're seeing here is basically on the recreation of a chapel that's in a region here in South Miami, where inside of the chapel there are a lot of really interesting pieces of artwork that the arts professor takes the students and teaches them about this artwork. But of course, now with COVID, it was harder to actually take the students on field trips. So what we collaborated with School of Arts here was to actually recreate also this chapel in mixed reality, to the point where the students could not only rotate and see the chapel, but also extract or take away the roof of the chapel, be able to go into the chapel, experience the chapel. But the key feature here was that they were actually able to take all of the artwork from inside the church, and because they were using magic leaps in their own homes, or they were actually able to pull out the piece of artwork, and then put it on their wall at home. And then once they put this virtual version of the piece of artwork in their home, in the wall at home, they were able to then see comparative pieces of artwork, see a narration about the artwork, and see different pieces of information about the artwork. So one of the things that we really like about this type of solutions is how we can think outside the box. And it's not just about recreating what's there, but also how do we bring that experience into the physical environment in which the students are engaging with them, right? So this was great, and we got incredible feedback from the students. I mean, they left, museums virtual museums around their house by placing all these different pieces of artwork around their home. And then the other case study that was very, very comprehensive, as I mentioned, was this with the School of Medicine at Universidad Rosario. The great thing about this specific experience is it allowed us to do a lot of different things that brought together all of the different components from our platform. On the top left, basically what you can see, it's the initial kind of like launch. This was actually an experience built for oncology students that needed to go through an assessment based on a course where they learn how to detect and eradicate breast cancer. So the experience that we co-developed with the doctors who are the professors who teach at the School of Medicine was actually to come up with kind of like a small spaceship that we place the students inside the heart, and that's where they start their journey around the different layers of the breast all the way to the armpit. And through that journey, they have to answer questions, they have to make decisions in terms of what paths to take. So what you're seeing here on the top left is actually that small spaceship once they're inside the heart. And for us, in order to be able to capture everything that they're doing within this gamified assessment experience, we capture a specific code that's associated to their student ID in their learning management system, so we can capture all the data, all the responses, all the decisions that they're going to make within this experience. What you see on the right side, it's also the implementation of our multi-language feature. This was done entirely in Spanish, where the students actually have a map, as you guys can see on the top right of this image. a map of the different arteries and the different areas, and they can actually see how they're advancing through their journey as they are going through these different assessments or these different areas to find the cancer cells. So that was interesting. In this case, we built two different modules for the same experience. One is a guided module that allows the student, that is non-timed, so it allows the students to practice, make mistakes, understand where they have knowledge gaps, but they're not being assessed or they're not being graded on it. And then once they go through a few tries under the guided experience, then they go into the real assessment experience, where it's a time experience. They actually have 17 minutes to go through the entire process, through all the questions of the assessment, in order for them to finalize their test. What you see then on the lower right hand side, like I mentioned, we wanted to make it really like a game-like experience. So they have these gloves, as instead of with the control that they're using with the controllers, where they're answering questions, where they're manipulating controls, and then on the left side, as they are advancing through experience, as they're answering questions right or making the right decisions, they're actually collecting ammunition, which they will use later on in the game to eliminate the cancer cells. And then what you see on the right side is actually a screenshot where we capture through the different modules that they go through, or the different layers, all of their answers, all of the decisions they made, whether it was a guided experience or a practice experience, or if it was actually an assessment experience where they passed or not, and of course their grade in terms of percentage of questions incorrect or correct answers. So this is one of the solutions where we are, as I mentioned, bringing our entire platform together to be able to deliver a full educational solution, all the way from the delivering of the content down to the delivering of the performance metrics by each student. So with that, I like to say thank you. This is the end of my presentation. We'll be more than glad to have conversations with anybody that's interested in connecting with us. Thank you so much for taking the time. Again, my name is Douglas Fajardo. Here is my email, douglas.fajardo@senialdigital.com. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, to set up any calls, to go through any of the case studies or any of the processes, or explain a little bit more about how we work with higher education institutions. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the courses. Thank you.